Introduction. Why do we cling to the rat race so tightly? Like many other decisions in life, we pick our jobs mostly to appease our parents. What do we, however, desire for ourselves? Many people today decide to be forced into a race with themselves. The rat race theory holds that you must continually put in a ton of difficult and frequently pointless work merely to get by. You exert all of your effort, yet your company, the government, and your energy bills still manage to steal almost all of your earnings, leaving you with next to nothing to put aside. To keep up with bills and taxes in the rat race, you must put up a lot of effort. Sadly, despite knowing about the rat race and despising it, many people continue to participate in it out of fear of social criticism. We've all been told to go to school, work well in class, find a decent career, and everything will be fine. The truth is that this guidance reveals exactly how the underprivileged and middle class view financial stability. The wealthy disagree with this viewpoint. The prescription for a life without financial hardships is no longer this. Success is no longer assured by a good education or excellent grades. Money is the medium through which this power manifests, and financial knowledge is powerful. You can attend college, receive an summa cum laude diploma, land a white-collar job, but you'll never see financial advancement. You must understand that despite your best efforts, you will never reap the rewards of your labors. You might have everything one day and lose it the next. If you are financially literate, though, you can take control of your money and begin creating wealth from scratch. In modern society, a larger proportion of people still adhere strictly to the advice to go to school. In actuality, these folks might be able to avoid poverty. They never get prosperous. We are unable to escape the rat race and amass fortune because of social rejection. Did you realize that the terms poor and broke can mean various things? The first one is a passing condition. The second quality, though, is timeless. Chapter 1. Greed and fear cause us to act irrationally. Many people have constant anxiety over their financial situation. They fear making mistakes with their finances that would cause them to start over, such as failing to pay their bills on time, being fired, or not having enough money. So let's be real. Many of us worry that we won't live up to expectations set by family, friends, or society. Finally, there is greed. Once they are given a loan with a high enough interest rate, most people have a price. The majority can't help but fantasize about their secure income at the end of the month and all the things they could buy. Instead of taking charge, a lot of people worry continually about their financial situation, worried over the potential of failing their family and loved ones or having to start over. These people are stuck in a cycle of waking up early, rushing to work, worrying out every day, and working hard on things they frequently do not enjoy when those two conditions are present. They finally receive their income and expenses after a trying month. A never-ending cycle of fear and greed governs every second of their existence, as well as every month and year. How do these two show up? Most of the time, we are terrified of losing our jobs, and greed comes out when we can't wait any longer for that paycheck, saving only enough to occasionally go on holidays and forget about the never-ending, miserable battle. Even though we might receive more money, our greed will still try to convince us that it is insufficient. It's a rat race right now. The majority of people are no longer even aware of the rat race because they are so used to it. They accept that cycle as usual and never question it. Most people react emotionally to their fears instead of resisting them and thinking rationally. We must take a minute to step back and consider the issue in order to understand that we are caught up in the rat race. A rat race is a complex event when viewed from the outside. On the one hand, nobody needs us to make any decisions because we know what to anticipate. However, this alleged lack of accountability does not make us happier. In order to avoid being late and losing our jobs, we rush to work. Because of this, the more we succumb to the rat race, the more our brain comes to believe that chasing after an impossible goal will always be a part of our nature. Thus, we complete our schooling, ace all of our examinations, and then search for a job that will pay. However, this common route, established by many who came before us, prevents us from experiencing economic prosperity. Greed does not teach us how to manage our finances. It merely commands us to enhance our standard of living. People who lack knowledge let their emotions guide their choices. For instance, they avoid investing in stocks or assets because they are afraid of losing money due to the potential risk. Greed promotes lifestyle improvement through the use of money, which may appear to be a safer option than asset investment. Long-term wealth creation is hampered by fear and greed. Contrary to popular belief, many people choose to become wealthy in order to escape their fear of poverty rather than to live better lives. However, the fear of losing them worsens as their wealth increases. You must educate yourself on finances if you want to escape this rat race. You need to know the difference between an asset and a liability so you may purchase assets rather than liabilities. Did you know that Robert Frost's poem The Road Not Taken expresses the idea that every one of us must make a difficult decision between two unknowable choices at least once in our lifetimes? If you select one road, you can never go back and take the other one instead. Chapter 2. Financial literacy is not taught in traditional educational frameworks. The secret to financial success is self-education. You can't become wealthy by relying only on your talent and your diploma. There are many talented yet poor persons in the world. The fundamental cause of the wealth disparity is financial knowledge, investing, debt risk accounting, compound interest stocks, and many other things. Sadly, financial literacy is not a priority in our educational system or school curricula. The frequency with which high school students max out their credit cards today shows how investing, savings, debt, compound interest, and other topics are being left behind. Our thinking is influenced by curricula outside of school. Instead of being a family secret, financial literacy would be taught in schools, making the pursuit of wealth a very viable goal rather than an impossible dream. Both young people and older people have problems with a lack of financial literacy. Both sides of the gap make financial considerations. It is up to you to educate yourself once you start working on your finances because society has not given us the tools to be financially literate. Education is good, but it's best to start young. The most essential thing is to invest in yourself. Invest in your mind first. Enroll in financial seminars and courses. As many novels as you can read. It's essential for you to choose a mentor because, as humans, we frequently learn best through observation. Someone who has previously attained what you seek could serve as your mentor. Then request their assistance. To become financially educated, you don't need to have a lot of free time. Instead, make the most of your current position and learn the crucial skills that will help you when the time comes to start your own firm. Working in the sales department of any goods company, for example, could help you get over your timidity. You'll work with professionals to receive the proper instruction. You will also lose sight of what being shy is if you start making cold calls to complete strangers. Chapter 3. You must be willing to take chances if you want to accumulate riches. The most significant change you probably need to make in order to improve your financial status is learning how to manage risks. People who are financially successful take risks. They have a remarkable capacity for managing risks and making the most of them rather than having a fear of taking them. A risk is not the same as keeping your money in the bank. It resembles stock and bond investing more. This is riskier than your typical bank savings, but it yields more money quickly. More income is produced quickly when investing in stocks and bonds. The truth is that what sets the wealthy apart is their propensity for taking chances. Rich people like to take risks, whereas middle-class and lower-class people want to play things safe. They fight tooth and nail to keep their employment because they are afraid of what might happen if they stop receiving their payments. People are more likely to play it safe rather than make a significant investment when their fear of losing outweighs their excitement about winning. Although they appear to say things like, "I don't want to lose," losing is unavoidable. While everyone else concentrates on their income statements, the wealthy pay attention to their asset columns. You can't progress to success without losing. Never win without also losing. Sometimes, it's just the way things are. And just because you lose doesn't make you a failure or a loser. It indicates that you've had a chance to advance through learning from a challenging circumstance. You must be more than willing to take chances if you want to amass wealth. When we spend our entire lives working for someone else, we frequently struggle financially. Chapter 4. We don't suddenly become wealthy. Find out how to keep yourself motivated. The road to financial success is an arduous and difficult one. It's simple to lose motivation when you encounter a challenge. For instance, the value of the stock you purchased could decrease. During challenging circumstances, you must maintain your dedication and drive. Making a list of your wants and don't wants for future use is one approach to stay motivated. It might say something like, I want to be debt-free in 3 years, or, I don't want to grow up to be like my parents. This list can help you stay inspired when facing challenges. Another method to keep motivated is to pay your expenses first, then spend money on yourself. Although it may seem paradoxical, you will know exactly how much money you require each month to achieve your goals. The improper kind of motivation is one that involves working hard for a paycheck and then blowing through it out of greed. Don't use this as an excuse to charge everything on your credit card and get into massive debt. Paying yourself first will increase pressure, which motivates you to find novel ways to increase your income. This will also assist you in acquiring financial discipline, a trait shared by all financially successful individuals. Reading biographies of successful people like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, or Mark Zuckerberg might help you stay inspired. Their tales of overcoming difficulties and adversity will inspire you. An asset is something that makes you more money, whereas a liability is something that costs you money. Your home is not a resource. Your everlasting mortgage and high property taxes are expenses rather than sources of income. The primary applied knowledge that sets the wealthy apart from the poor and middle class is that they invest in assets. A liability is something you must pay for, but an asset increases your financial situation. Bonds, mutual funds, companies, stocks, and anything else that generates income and can be easily sold are examples of assets. By earning income passively through investment in assets, you may make your money work for you. You make more money when you have assets. When your assets are sufficient to pay for your expenses, you take the surplus cash and reinvest it, creating a compound growth effect. Sadly, the majority of people classify liabilities as assets. Many people dream of owning a home, but while they may think it is an asset, it is actually one of the most expensive liabilities you can acquire. Homes don't provide income and come with a lifetime mortgage and costly property taxes. Long-term financial success and escape from the rat race depend on your ability to build profitable assets and invest in them. Chapter 5. Your business is more important in generating wealth than your vocation. A profession is distinct from a business. Your occupation is anything you do during the day to take care of your bills, buy food, and maintain your standard of living. On the other hand, with a business you put time and money into growing your assets. It is virtually impossible to amass riches only through your work, as it often only pays for required expenses. You must start a business while working a job if you want to get wealthy. You require personal time and cash flow folks to launch your own firm. Cooking is a chef's occupation. Even while it pays the bills, they are unlikely to become wealthy in the long run. They make real estate investments and use any surplus money they have each month to buy assets that will generate income. In a similar vein, a tire salesperson will spend their extra money in stock trading. These two examples demonstrate how jobs pay for monthly expenses, but people who invest extra money in their enterprises expand their businesses and amass wealth. Your firm will be first funded by your profession. Wait until your business has steady growth before quitting your day job. Your asset financial independence now serves as your main source of income rather than your profession. A solid understanding of taxation is essential. The wealthiest are quite knowledgeable about taxes, and they approach them very differently from the underprivileged and middle class. Rich people center all of their business operations around their assets. They can then employ qualified accountants and attorneys to lower their taxes and defend them in court. After receiving a salary, an employee pays taxes and then subsists till the cycle is repeated. When a business makes money, it spends all of it and then pays taxes on the remainder. You can also learn how to pay less in taxes. To achieve it, you must familiarize yourself with the operation of the tax system. Spending increases the amount of money available for taxation. By doing this, you can reduce the amount collected from you. Did you realize that investing entails active labor and involves money making? Your right brain's creative side. Chapter 6. Overcoming challenges that could damage your finances. Even after acquiring financial literacy, some persons may still encounter obstacles to achieving financial independence. People who have learned financial literacy may nevertheless not generate a wealth of asset columns for the following 5 reasons. These factors include fear, cynicism, laziness, harmful practices, haughtiness, fear. Robert, according to Green, he has never encountered a wealthy individual who had never lost money. But practically all of the poor people he encountered were still in poverty. It is obvious that learning to take risks and reducing your fear of them are prerequisites for getting wealthy. Each of us has an inbuilt fear of losing money. The issue, though, is not the dread itself. Our perspective on hazards is what differentiates us. Failures motivate winners, but they demoralize losers. Winners don't fear failing. They are aware that it will simply spur them on to work even harder. On the other side, losers won't even try since they can't take rejection. Success is sparked by failure. Losers are defeated by failure. This is a secret that only victors are aware of. Most people experience financial difficulties as a result of playing to avoid losing rather than to win. People who are cynical are kept poor by their doubts and uncertainties. In theory, leaving the rat race is a relatively simple process. Rat racers, though, are stopped by doubts. The cynics prefer to criticize rather than analyze like winners do. They are unable to see the opportunities due to their criticism. Many people never become wealthy because they are more afraid of losing money than they are of winning it. Laziness. Contrary to popular belief, being busy is the most prevalent kind of laziness. The best method to avoid facing our concerns is to keep ourselves busy with a variety of activities and tasks. We all know this basic fact in our hearts. That is why it often annoys us when someone brings it up. We are too busy to look after our wealth, as well as our family and health. Education is not the sole aspect of success that defines it. The latter includes certain habits. The wealthy are always improving. They start by investing in themselves. Start forming habits that will help you achieve your goals. Form the good habit of reading each day. Exercise regularly as well to improve your physical wellness. Make time for the important things. Arrogance. People with conceit frequently lose money because of their ignorance. They have the opinion that something is not essential if they don't know about it. You need to put humility first if you want to succeed. You can learn something from every individual that crosses your life and every circumstance you come across if you are humble enough. I can't afford it disables your brain when you say it. Alternatively, what must I do in order to make ends meet? Opens up opportunities, thrills, and dreams. Conclusion. It is entirely up to you to acquire your own financial literacy as our educational system does not teach it. If you learn to think like the wealthy and comprehend how the financial system works, accumulating wealth will become simpler and more attainable. Never be afraid to make an investment in your mental growth. Our minds are the most potent tool we all possess. It can generate a great deal of wealth if properly trained. The lack of money is not our worst adversary, but there are many other factors that prevent us from achieving financial success. The largest one yet is the notion that we must work non-stop for someone else, in contrast to our faulty beliefs and preconceptions about how to get affluent. However, unless we learn to work for ourselves, tougher work won't pay off. Understanding the distinction between liabilities and assets is one of Robert Kiyosaki's most insightful pieces of advice. The latter makes money for you, but the former regularly requires an investment. Additionally, we must familiarize ourselves with the principles of taxes and learn from the practices of large corporations in terms of their revenue generation, expenditures, and taxation. We must remember that even if we learn to allocate our money well, fear, cynicism, sloth, arrogance, and bad habits will not help us become wealthy. Try to keep costs down, cut back on liabilities, and diligently accumulate a foundation of reliable assets. The payoff for making investments in and developing real assets is true luxury. While everyone else concentrates on their income statements, the wealthy pay attention to their asset columns. Consider yourself wealthy and concentrate on increasing your asset columns. Remember that real estate is a potent instrument for anyone pursuing financial freedom or independence. Take advantage of any real estate investment opportunities you may be given. Make connections with prosperous businesspeople in your field of interest and soak up all the knowledge you can from them. Money comes and goes, but if you have the knowledge of how it functions, you may take control over it and start accumulating wealth.